try to be objective with all of my sports coverage, and listen, Jacy Sheldon objectively should be suspended for this play. I just don't know in what world, in what universe you watch that play back and you go, that was a basketball play. She was trying to make a basketball move, especially with all the angles of this play.
Tensions are rising, and fans aren't staying quiet anymore. Outrage is sweeping across the basketball world after Jacy Sheldon's aggressive hit on Caitlin Clark. The incident didn't just spark debate, lit a firestorm. Supporters of the WNBA are calling for accountability, demanding that Sheldon face major financial penalties. Why? Because that move wasn't just rough, it could have seriously jeopardized the future of the league's brightest star. And now, the message is loud and clear. Reckless play comes with real consequences.
Sheldon was clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game, and that is, that comes from a function of, she guarded her in one-on-one situations a lot up the court, and then rolled into a lot of doubles in the half court. But there was talking and chirping all game, and for me, it was punctuated by Caitlin Clark's final play before she came out of the game, where she stares Jacy Sheldon down, essentially demonstrates, she's like, if you poke me in my eye, I will shoot it in yours. And she crosses her, finds the favorite spot, free throw line extended from the logo area, big fuck you 3 to Jacy Sheldon, yells at the Connecticut bench, yells at the crowd. Her and Jacy Sheldon come back together. Caitlin fires up the audience, basically tells Jacy Sheldon, you are a bum.
That outrage isn't slowing down, it's gaining momentum online. From Twitter threads to sports forums, fans are flooding the conversation, with one clear demand: hit Jacy Sheldon with a fine big enough to send a lasting message. If referees won't step up to shield Caitlin Clark from dangerous play, then the league must. Supporters argue that a heavy financial penalty is the only way to deter future cheap shots and show that protecting the face of the WNBA is a top priority.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about this.
What should have been a standard Tuesday night matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun quickly turned into something else entirely. Once again, Caitlin Clark found herself at the center of rough, targeted play, and this time, it crossed a line. Jacy Sheldon's hit wasn't just physical, it was unmistakably aggressive. The contact was so obvious, so reckless, that even casual fans watching at home couldn't pretend it was accidental. And yet, the league's silence continues.
Clark and Jacy Sheldon. There is a legitimate hatred there. If you guys have heard, this Ohio State team, this 2023 Ohio State team, hated that Iowa team. And this is Jacy Sheldon, who was Caitlin Clark's direct matchup in these games. Like I tweeted out, forget Angel, forget Dejanay. This is Caitlin Clark's one true rival.
Jacy Sheldon didn't just foul Caitlin Clark, he went for the eye. In the middle of a defensive sequence, Sheldon appeared to deliberately jab at Clark's face, risking serious injury to the league's top draw. What really fueled the outrage, though, was the smirk that followed. To fans, it wasn't just a dirty play, it was personal. Social media erupted with claims that this wasn't a mistake, but a targeted, intentional act against the very player who has breathed new life into the WNBA spotlight.
Funny thing about that whole Caitlin and Jacy situation last night is it's like on a if you know thing. These two have been running the friendly fade on the court for like the last 4 years. They played in college, had great battles, so I'm not surprised last night happened.
If you're enjoying this coverage, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. What happened next only added fuel to the fire. After the eye poke, Jacy Sheldon didn't let up. Instead, she escalated things by yanking Clark's arm and digging her nails into her skin. Shockingly, the refs let it slide with no whistle. And just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, Marina Mabre jumped in, shoving Clark from behind while she was still recovering from the first hit. The sequence left fans stunned and demanding answers. How much more will the league allow? Before stepping in,
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Backlash was immediate and fierce. Within hours of Sheldon's hit on Clark, social media lit up with outrage. Years of simmering frustration boiled over as fans demanded serious consequences, heavy fines, suspensions, even calls to ban Sheldon from the league altogether. Jacy Sheldon quickly took off, trending across multiple platforms. Meanwhile, her Instagram account was flooded with critical comments. Some labeled her bitter and unprofessional. Others questioned whether she even belonged in a professional league at all. The message from fans was unmistakable. Enough is enough.
Look at it from behind or from the side. It's so obvious that she straight up leapt out towards Caitlyn and got her right in the eye. And the more I try and watch it back and you try to be objective, there is no world where this was a basketball play. And yes, she was playing tough defense on Caitlyn up until that point, but she leapt forward, and it's not like it's defensible where you can say she tried to get the ball, because her hand at that point was so far away from where the ball was. It's not like Caitlyn was dribbling the ball up near her face. How she was not ejected for this, I don't know. The broadcast was talking about it, and that's why Sophie Cunningham even had the opportunity to hard foul her at the end. I don't know what you do, but the league's got to do something.
Even major media voices couldn't stay silent. On The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon took a direct shot at WNBA leadership, saying, "What is going on in the WNBA? Protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs. Please, enough of this. Please." When late-night hosts start calling out the league, it's no longer just a sports issue, it's a cultural one. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy also jumped in, calling Sheldon and others jealous loser punks and suggesting they belong. In a rec league where no one cares about you, this kind of mainstream attention is exactly what the WNBA wants to avoid, because it shines a spotlight on something they've failed to fix, keeping their most valuable star safe on the court.
How he'd stop the fighting, he thought they meant the WNBA. What is going on? Protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs, please. Enough of this. Please.
To grasp why fans are calling for such harsh penalties against Jacy Sheldon, you have to understand just how much Caitlyn Clark means to the WNBA. The numbers are jaw-dropping. According to Dr. Ryan Brewer, a finance expert from Indiana University, Columbus Clark was responsible for a massive 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity in her rookie season alone. Think about that. Over a quarter of the league's financial success came from one player, who was only earning $76,535 that year. And that's just the beginning. Brewer's forecast for 2025 is even more staggering. He projects Clark could generate close to $1 billion in economic impact for the league this season. Yes, billion with a B. That figure completely eclipses anything women's professional basketball has ever seen. So, when a player with that kind of value is being repeatedly targeted with cheap shots, it's not just a safety issue, it's a financial crisis waiting to happen.
Listen, bring Caitlyn Clark to the NBA right now, because the refs ain't gonna protect her. She only got one teammate, and that's her, who gonna do something about it. Like, yo, yesterday, that's malice in the palace activity. Call for it. That y'all should have been throwing hands all over the place. How do you get poked in the eye, then get thrown to the ground, and then you receive a technical foul? And don't none of your teammates want to step up, fight, squabble, none of that. They just looking like, yo, It's been, we know that y'all been targeting Caitlyn Clark now. Now, I'm even watching, I'm like, hold on, what? Like, how are y'all letting this happen? How are y'all not protecting this girl? Now, she clearly is a superstar, right? But there's plenty superstars in the WNBA, and don't none of them get treated the way Caitlyn Clark get treated, no? Y'all gonna mess up and ruin the whole numbers, your ratings, your sponsor, all that, if y'all don't have Caitlyn Clark in y'all's league. So y'all better start acting right. I'm telling you.
The WNBA's response to the Sheldon incident has fans outraged. Sheldon got a flagrant 1 and a $2,000 fine. Mabry's shove, just $400. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, who defended Caitlyn Clark, was hit with a flagrant 2 and another undisclosed fine. The message feels backwards. Attack Clark and pay a small fine. Defend her and face real punishment. Fans have had enough. Petitions are gaining traction, and social media is calling for much tougher fine sum, even saying part of the money should go to Clark as compensation for the constant targeting.
This has been a very contentious 12 hours since the game. A lot of people on ESPN saying ridiculous things, like Monica McNutt saying she had no problem with Marina Mabry's foul. And I look at that in comparison to the Sophie Cunningham foul, which I have seen people say has no place in the league, unsportsmanlike, when that actually is a lot more sportsmanlike than the Marina Mabry one. Marina Mabry was completely disconnected from the play, had nothing to do with it. There was no play even going on when Marina Mabry did that.
The argument isn't just emotional, it's business. If Jacy Sheldon's eye poke had caused real damage to Caitlin Clark's vision, the WNBA could have lost hundreds of millions in revenue. From a financial standpoint alone, the league's current approach to protecting its biggest star is baffling. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player, she's the most electrifying force women's basketball has ever seen. She's transformed everything. Ticket sales, TV ratings, merch revenue, you name it. And yet, the league is letting her be openly targeted by players with personal vendettas. Teams can't fill arenas without her. TV viewership triples when she's on the court. Cities are literally restructuring venues just to handle the crowds she brings in. So why wouldn't the WNBA go all in on protecting her? The smart Plathia only plays to make sure anyone who takes a cheap shot at Clark feels it where it hurts in the wallet. Need more proof? The Indiana Fever's franchise value exploded from $90 million to $340 million in a single year, nearly all thanks to Caitlin Clark. That's a $250 million boost tied to one player. And for that kind of impact, slapping her attacker with a $2,000 fine isn't just weak hits financially reckless.